Hello and welcome to Game Changer. I'm Mariam Zia. Tonight we will be taking a look at the growing threat of terrorism in Pakistan. According to Global Terrorism Index 2025, Pakistan now ranks at the second most affected country by terrorism in the world. In 2024, the number of fatalities by terrorism surged by 45%, and there was an increase in the number of attacks to over 1,099. When we look at the terrorist-related incidents, TTP remains one of the deadliest organizations conducting these attacks within Pakistan, and KP and Balochistan remains the regions that are most affected, accounting for 96% of the violence. Adding to this grim picture is today's attack on Jaffar Express in Balochistan, and it further highlights the security crisis in the country. In today's program, we will be talking about these trends that are highlighted in this report and what needs to be done, especially when we look at the security within Pakistan, outside Pakistan, regional security dynamics, and within the larger global dynamics as well. To discuss this and more, we are joined online by Major General Zahid Mahmood, who is security analyst. Welcome to the program. We're also joined by Mr. Zahir Shah Shirazi, who is Pak Afghan affairs expert and senior analyst. Welcome to the program. General Zahid, let me start with you. When we look at this GTI 2025 report, first of all, how do you access this report? What's your take on this report, which ranks Pakistan as the second most terrorist affected countries in the world? And adding to this grim reality is today's, of course, attack. And we also know that reports and different reports tell us that there has been a surge of 119% increase in attacks by BLA. So how do you take this overall security scenario or evolving security situation or terrorism threat within Pakistan?
Well, Mariam, thank you very much for the invite. But to be very honest, let me start off with condemning the heinous act, which is targeting the innocent and poor people of Pakistan. So this threat, this incident, this clearly reflects that this is the application against Pakistan. So it is not against the security forces, it is not against the government, it is not against those forces whom they think that they are the oppressors in this region, especially in KP and Balochistan. So this is an act of terror against humanity, an act of terror against state of Pakistan. So once I say a state of Pakistan, it means that the number of incidents you have quoted and the report, which is talking about Pakistan being number 2 in the list, and the number of incidents, increase in the number of incidents, this also reflects that there is a huge thinking behind this. This is not an ordinary phenomena. So this is a phenomena by the inimical forces, coming from the inimical forces against Pakistan. This is the application of a complete red syndicate against Pakistan. So there is an economics behind this, there is a thinking behind this, and there is a serious application behind this. You can understand that today, that the moment this incident, the train hijacking incident started, I was watching the Indian television and the media. I mean, entire media was almost, they were live casting all this activity. So it means that, and the numbers and figures about the casualties, and as if somebody was sitting in the commentary box watching with their eyes, and then they're giving commentary on it. It means that they were already in the knowledge of this incident. They had already prepared their media and their experts. Everybody was well prepared to speak on this. So this is another proof that there is a serious thinking behind this. There is a state behind this. And remember that whenever there is a fight between the people of a country and the state operators, both state and the people of Pakistan, people of Balochistan, people of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, and the state of Pakistan will be loser. Then there will be somebody else who will be coming winner out of it. So this is a serious situation. This is not an ordinary incident,
and we should not let it go. Right, of course, and General Zahid, of course, this is a developing story at the moment. We'll be talking about it later. But coming to you, Mr. Zahir, when we look at this GTI 2025 report, the figures are, of course, concerning. Given the provinces of KP and Balochistan have suffered 96% of all terrorist attacks. In your opinion, what are the underlying factors behind this surge of attacks?
Well, thank you very much, Mariam. And I would just continue what General Zayed was saying. I think today's incident obviously is a gory incident and again a doomsday for Pakistan. And I think the enemies of the state, perhaps they are working in close coordination, not only planning and carrying out such attacks, but also creating a hype on the media, which obviously is, I think, very much opened at how the nexus of evil are trying to target the people of Pakistan and the state of Pakistan. And I think the international community now must raise only issuing reports that Pakistan is under the threat and on the second number is not sufficient. Now we have to look into why Pakistan is being targeted. Who are the people who are doing it? These are not like these a few couple of ragtag militants who are carrying and branding guns and they are just carrying out such organized attacks. I think it's a full planning of terrorism against Pakistan. Now, I think some countries, including Indians, as well as some of those hostile nations who don't want to see Pakistan progress, perhaps they are planning and executing all these things. Coming again, what are the reasons? Perhaps the reasons are a lot. Pakistan is the country which had a history of defeating terrorism in Malakand. I think General Syed would support me that and second me how in Bajor we sacrificed our lives, our law enforcement agencies and our brave soldiers. They flushed out militants from Bajor, then they destroyed their nerve centers in North and South Waziristan. And how come a few people like who are coming across the border and they can carry out such attacks? I think now Pakistan should be taking up the case with the international community that the banned organizations like BLA, BNA, and Fitna al Khawarij, how they are being portrayed as heroes and liberation forces in Indian channels and some of the other international channels. I think this is an international norm that a declared terrorist organization should be treated as a terrorist organization. How the Indian channels are portraying the BLA or BNA as the freedom fighters, this is one thing. The second, I think, attack on civilians, making children and women hostages. I think it has given a very clear message that these people are, the militants are, the terrorists are just terrorizing the Pakistani state. They wanted to terrorize the general people. I think they don't have any agenda. The only agenda is that they just wanted to spread terror, and it is being done for purpose. And the hostile forces, their supporters, their perpetrators, they are equally responsible. And I think Pakistan should be taking up this issue on the international level as well. That what is the reason that some hostile countries, including India, is propagating and making propaganda on these issues. When it comes to the
Right, that remains an important factor about taking this issue to the international forums. But General Zahid, when we look at today's incidents and at this report that was recently released, of course, it emphasizes the ongoing terrorism threats that Pakistan has been facing for quite some time, and Pakistan ranks just behind Burkina Faso and ahead of Syria. This is very alarming for security institutions as well. And report shows that the number of terrorist attacks in Pakistan more than doubled in 2023 to 1099, and it is the first time in GTI history as well that it has surpassed the 1000 number of incidents mark. So what's your take on this? And also, in your opinion, what kind of geopolitical or operational shifts have taken place in these days that we are witnessing this upsurge in terrorist attacks?
Maria, we need to understand that this the whole environment through which we are going this is not a phenomena which is coming in recent days. There has been the planning, long time planning, and probably there were forces who were trying to create this kind of a domestic and this kind of a regional milieu to compel Pakistan to show the world that this is a weak Pakistan. The capacity of the Pakistani institution is very weak. I mean, they're not capable of even handling few non-state actors. So this country cannot be left alone, at the mercy of non-state actors, and the institutions, all the armed forces, the security forces, they are not capable of handling Pakistan. So this is one of the purpose of creating such an environment. But let me tell you very frankly that Pakistan has the capacity, has the capability. We just have to show the will and collective effort. We will take out all these variants. You know why I'm talking about that? This is the purpose of creating this environment, because they want to create an environment where Pakistan is a nuclear country. I can only hint on that. So this nuclear Pakistan is not being taken well by is not being considered well by the inimical forces, and there's a complete red syndicate I'm talking about. So they want policy capitulation from Pakistan. This is their objective, that we should go back from Kashmir, we should surrender our nuclear assets, and we should become a kind of a Syria for them. It is not going to happen, because this is a nation of 25 to 50 million, and this is the aspirations. This is not a banana republic. The institutions are intact, the governments are intact, our democratic houses are intact. So this is not a government of which is a byproduct of war like in Afghanistan. This is not a government like in Syria. Unfortunately, you create an environment. Look at Iraq, what has happened to them. So this is kind of a pressure which is being put on Pakistan. So there is a policy, capitulation, and we revert to their policies. We become a subservient state. It's not going to happen. It will never happen. But we have to put our house in order, and we have to put in place all the efforts of all the elements of national power, a unanimous and unison effort. That's how we're going to tackle this. They want to create two-front situation for us on the eastern border and on the western border, and now almost a third prong through the hybrid is the internal prong. So you have to fight war on three borders. So they are trying to damage our relationship with Afghanistan, with the people of Afghanistan also. So all the populace of Afghanistan, they become enemy of Pakistan. Then they want to create a situation from within with a very limited number of these non-state actors. Inshallah, if we decide that we have to eliminate that, I can tell you that it will not take even, I mean, months. It will take few days. But the application, it has to be, collective, comprehensive, and through whole of a nation approach. This application has to be done.
A multi-pronged strategy is needed at this point in time, and that was suggested by a Global Terrorism Index report as well. We'll be talking about that. But coming back to you, Mr. Zahir, when we look at this report, it also suggests that TTP has emerged as one of the deadliest terrorist organizations in the region, and it ranks at number 4. In your opinion, what were the strategies that were employed by TTP that had made them so much lethal at this point in time, that they are conducting most of the attacks, like 52% of the attacks in Pakistan were conducted by TTP. And of course, this is increase, 91% increase from the previous year. So what external and internal factors, in your opinion, were involved?
Well, TTP, not only TTP, but there are 20 to 25 of those organizations which are based in their safe havens in Afghanistan, and at least 16 of them are operating against Pakistan. The reason for increase in the capability and the striking ability of the TTP is because they had formed a nexus. I would just share information with you that they have now divided Pakistan into different zones, and one of the zone which is led by the Hafizul Bahadur militant group and Al Qaeda and all those foreign elements, and that would be targeting one part of Pakistan. The second is the Fitna al Khawarij, which will be operating in the northern part, like the Malakand and Bajor and all these areas. So this is a very serious thing, because they are now realigning, and the reason is Afghanistan is by no means run by a powerful government. I think Kabul Taliban administration is very weak. They two reasons: they don't have the writ in some of those areas along the Pak-Afghan border, and perhaps the second reason is they don't want to take action against them because of their previous affiliation with these elements. And the third important thing is now we have sufficient proof that the Afghan militant or the Afghan Taliban are directly involved in attacks inside Pakistan, and they are supporting TTP. This is the major reason that how the TTP managed to increase their attacks, because a full state is behind them. And for example, we have now reports that more than 18 to 20 Afghan Taliban fighters, they were killed on the border in North Waziristan, and when their bodies were carried back to some of their hometowns in Khost and other Logar and other areas, I think the locals started protested that how the Kabul administration or the Amir al-Mu'mineen of Taliban is sending fighters to Pakistan, because Pakistan is a friendly state. And another important element is the rift between the different Taliban groups. I think Sirajuddin Haqqani, he is now at war with Maulvi Hibatullah. Gulbuddin Hikmatyar is out of their group. Also, some of other key leaders, they are being alienated. So now the Afghan soil is an open and a new battle zone and a proxy zone, which is serving as a safe haven for all those elements which are targeting Pakistan. Another important issue is that, yes, as General Zayed was mentioning, we have to put a lot to make our house in order. We have to focus on those underdeveloped areas. We have to, engage these people, and we have to go to those tribal people, the tribal elders, the local elders, to now motivate them to help them out in whipping out these dens of terrorists and their sympathizers. The last, I think, the hybrid warfare, the media warfare, which is being launched, I think this propaganda about creating hype about such these incidents, I think this is very important. And perhaps this is the area where we are lagging behind. We have to, enhance our capacity. We have to have a specialized cells to counter such propaganda by the social media warriors or by the hostile enemy media, because we don't have anything to fight it. Just putting a ban on not airing the stories and not giving the information, it won't serve us. We have to portray our side of the story, and for that we need a comprehensive media strategy, especially to counter such a narrative which is creating a lot of problems for Pakistan. This is very important.
Right. General Zayed, of course, Mr. Zahir also alluded to the point of foreign nationals' involvement in the recent attacks in Pakistan, especially when we take the example of recently held attack on Bannu Kent. So, in your opinion, and when we talk about this GTI report, it also links the surge in attacks to the rise of Afghan Taliban in Afghanistan. So, how should Pakistan recalibrate its approach to dealing with safe havens for militants in Afghanistan?
Deterrence. Simple answer is deterrence. We need to create deterrence. Pakistani military has already has declared in their policy. They have given a lot of chance to the peace. So they have declared their policies that we will go to the bases from where these attacks are being generated against Pakistan. And the way Shirazi Saab was saying, I mean, there are pressures within Afghan Taliban also amongst various groups. So already Mr. Hibatullah, Maulvi Hibatullah, he was found changing his governor in northern provinces, few police chiefs as well. So, but unfortunately, they are trying to keep all this Afghan interim setup. Probably they are the one who are keeping all these anti-Pakistan non-state actor groups, TTP, Gul Bahadur, Maulvi Rahman, etc., and all of these under one umbrella. So this is a joint strategy which they has applied, and they want to have a common enemy, to keep them united. Once you have a common enemy, that keeps you united. And probably, unfortunately, they have selected Pakistan as their common enemy. So they keep all these factions under one umbrella, under one strategy and policy and application. But these militant leaders, they don't have, permanent approach, permanent character of war. is attached to them. So once you will put in a lot of other efforts other than the kinetic, lot of socio-economic and especially economic effort, we will, then we'll be able to carve some kind of, sport from within these factions. Sport means that they stop targeting Pakistan. That is the only requirement. Why they want to weaken Pakistan? Initially, they were fighting for, against Russians, the Mujahideen they fought, against America. Americans have gone. Then there was a story we have been hearing that we had a feeling that once Musharraf will leave office, so things will go better. Musharraf went, the things increased. So we should have no doubt that these are the enemies of Pakistan. These are the enemy of Islam. So a charade kind of ideology they are fighting. So we people of Pakistan have understood that their ideology is charade. Our real Islamic ideology is far superior. So
Right.
why they're fighting this state?
Right, General Zahid, you have rightly pointed out this evolving threat and of course the significance of this evolving nexus between these terrorist organizations, and they are trying to attack and are attacking Pakistan under the banner of Tehreek-e-Jihad Pakistan. So how do you think this is going to be shaping the terrorist or threat within within the broader regional aspect of South Asia especially?
The whole of the region is there, is being impacted. So that's why we are saying that at this moment, Pakistan need to engage diplomatically, offensive engagement diplomatically, especially with the regional countries and the international powers, especially the United States of America, because they have left the $7 billion weapon and ammunition. So this people in this part of the world, they think they're compelled to think negatively that this has been done deliberately. I mean, these were not few individuals who were leaving this army. This was not the withdrawal of Afghan National Army. This was the withdrawal of NATO forces, allies. These were the professional militaries who even, every bill they invest in the war is counted for. Every weapon which they put in the war is counted for. So NATO coded weapons are left here. So people of Pakistan, especially, who are becoming the victim of these weapons are being used against us. So the normal people, they start thinking that America is behind this. So America has to, remove this stain from their past. And luckily, President Trump has already, accepted that this was a poorly, badly crafted withdrawal from Afghanistan, which was, kind of an embarrassment by the United States of America. So Pakistan need to build on this. Diplomatically, we have to engage United States of America that, look, this is what your weapons are bringing to us and to the region. Then this guy who has been handed over to United States of America is confessed that he was involved in the Russian bombing. Then there are people who are working against China, against Central Asian republics. So we have a common agenda of peace, stability in the region. We
Right,
have to work on this.
Right, and talking about this common agenda of peace, Mr. Zahir, what's your take on this when we talk about the broader regional counter-terrorism strategy? And when we look at our borders, there are border disputes between Torkham and leading to days of clashes, and there is heavy weaponry exchange between Pakistani forces and Afghan forces as well. So how do you think this is impacting the regional counter-terrorism strategy?
Mariam, I think importantly, the regional countries like Iran, Pakistan, China, Central Asian republics, they are all affected by whatever is going on in Afghanistan, and I think they are not happy. The second thing is the border clashes. I think there are two reasons. First, we have seen, most of the time, the Afghan Taliban wanted to keep these border hot, and the western border threat, which is coming to Pakistan, it is enormous. It's not only military threat; it is also the threat of cross-border terrorism. There is also a water war which is going on our western border, and I think who is supporting the western border agenda? I think it's only one country which wanted to engage the Pakistani security forces as well as the Pakistani law enforcement agencies on the western border. So I think this is an international, conspiracy against Pakistan. For that, Indians are in the front. Yes, they are supported by even the Israeli lobby. They are even supported by the American lobby. And the Americans do have their own interest. I think the China-centric policy and also to keep a foot in the region. I would say the Americans had never been out of the Afghanistan and this region, and they would not be forever. I think this is a harsh reality. We have to accept it. Yes, they have run away. I won't say that this was a withdrawal. General Zayed will support me that it was actually a military defeat when you ran away, leaving behind your weapons and everything to the enemies. And now these weapons are threatening not only Pakistan, but they are serious threat to China, they are serious threat to Iran, and they are serious threat to Central Asian republics, because now these weapons are openly on sale. These weapons are not with one organized, comprehensive, inclusive government, but they are with the warlords. There are, scores of militant groups. Some of them are affiliated with the ISK. Some of them have affiliation with the Hebatullah group. Some of them are affiliated with the Hikmatyar group. Most of them are, following
And
Khalifa
right.
Sirajuddin Haqqani. So, yeah,
Right, and Mr. Zahir, of course, and there are different reports that these weapons were deliberately left by US forces. But coming back to this GTI report, it of course ranks Daesh as the deadliest terrorist organization in the world, accounting for the most attacks in 22 countries. So do you think there are some comparative lessons that Pakistan can learn when we are fighting for deadliest organization like TTP in our country?
well, I think they are one. I would not say they are separate. Now, the TTP, the ISK, Al Qaeda, and BLA, BNA, they are supporting each other. TIP, I think the Turkestan Islamic Party, which is like mostly from the Uyghur militants, which are threatening the Chinese interest. And now you have seen, I think the BLA, BNA, TIP, they are all in the operational phase. Al Qaeda, ISK, and the TTP are now training them. I think there are, save happens along the Pak-Afghan border where the people are being properly trained. They are being sent in. They are launching organized attacks. So the strategy should be very clear. I think we have to go against them. We have the technology. If we are not crossing the border, we have the drone technology. We can, effectively strike them. It can happen. I think the areas are very much, marked. They are very much located at where these people are, how they manage to move along the border, and it's now very clear. I think the Afghan government is not willing to take action against them, because if scores of people are crossing the border and attacking another country, I think it is very much visible and they know about it. As I was mentioning, I think regional countries should have quickly come up to a kind of a collective strategy. Iran, Pakistan, China, Central Asian republics. I think they must have a collective conference or a mood type of thing to discuss the serious security situation, because this is not a simple armed militants who are carrying AK-47. They have heavy weapons. They have sophisticated weapons. Even I think they would not have the expertise to fly the Apache and Nama helicopters, but you can say that a number of those helicopters and tanks are abandoned inside Afghanistan. So it can be a serious threat. Another information I have from across the border, that the Indian aerotech engineers, they are now trying to repair those air equipment and all those sophisticated weapons. They are training the Taliban. So I think this would be again a very serious threat
Right.
to the neighboring countries.
Right, and talking about those training centers that were established by TTP in areas like Kunar, Nangarhar, and Khost, Paktika provinces, it is also reported by GTI. How do you think this is going to be affecting the long-term sustainability of these attacks that are being conducted by TTP and other terrorist organizations, Mr. Zahir?
Well, it's very important. I think just if the GTI report is so much true, it is authentic. What is the international community doing? Why they are leaving Pakistan? This is a very serious question. Now, we are not saying that Afghan Taliban or the Afghan soil is used against Pakistan. It is an international organization. The United Nations has itself also reported authentically that Afghan soil is used against Pakistan. So, for what? Why we are silent? We must have a very aggressive policy. We have to talk to the all the stakeholders, including the Middle Eastern countries like our friends Saudi Arabia, Qatar, UAE, who are part of the Doha Accord, which had given guarantees that Afghan side should not be used against Pakistan. And another important thing, the key Taliban leadership which was imposed on Kabul, most of them are sitting in UAE and Qatar. So I think it's time that we must have, a comprehensive strategy engaging all the member states which are have a borders with Afghanistan, China, Russia, Central Asian republics, Iran, Pakistan, and also all those guarantors who are part of an agreement in Doha that if Kabul is handed over to Afghan Taliban, then peace would be returning to Afghanistan. It didn't happen. Now I think Afghanistan has become another huge proxy battle zone where you can hire killers, you can hire terrorists, and you can rent out weapons. So what kind of a strategy it was when the Biden administration left Afghanistan again, and have again put the entire region in danger? I think the regional countries have a huge responsibility to tackle this issue. Otherwise, I think it would be very dangerous for them.
Of course, this is going to be a huge security threat, not only for the regional countries, but for the global security dynamics as well. General Zahid, when we look at this report and different reports, they suggest that there is a number of minors that are now being involved in terrorist activities. How significant is the challenge posed by increasing involvement of minors in terrorist activities, with different reports suggesting that 42% of terror-related arrests of under 18s in UK. How do you think digitalization is shaping up these trends of radicalization?
Mariam, this is this social media and use of social media and digitalized, but whatever this terrorism you're talking about is, this is an old phenomena. Even we have seen that ISIL, all these they use this social media platforms to recruit. What to talk of innocent people from this part of the world, but from the most modern world, from Australia, Canada, France, So there was a lot of recruitment through radicalization. But again, this is a big question that once these things are happening through the social medias, and don't you think that we have the control, the international community, and especially those powerful countries, they don't have a control on this. So these are few things which are in the gray. This hybrid war has made everything gray. You're talking about under 18, kids being used in terrorism. Look at what is happening in Balochistan against all our cultural and traditions, cultural norms and traditions. Women are being used. Women are being used in these acts of terrorism. So these are the inhuman people. They have nothing to do with the humanity. They will use innocent people, kids, girls, boys, everyone, and they will, especially once you make them, convert them into suicide bombers. So this is a huge application. So they don't have respect for humanity. What to talk of? This is not abnormal for me. They are being used. And secondly, there's no other activity in Afghanistan, unfortunately. And there are many people who have now nothing to lose. Once there is no love for the life in that country, you don't have the relationship, you don't have the economic, this is not a normal life of Afghani people inside Afghanistan. So these are the breeding grounds which are available. And what to talk of, same things will happen in Middle East now, once there's a friction, once there are injustices, once the world is divided in equals and more equals, haves and haves not. So these kinds of phenomena will keep popping up. And we are talking about the human norms, morality. So there's nothing in this. And these are not too proper, once the non-state actors are used, these are the breeding grounds which are available to these people who are using them, to these forces. We have to put our own house in order first, to be very honest. We have some governors challenge, governor.
General Zahid, when we talk about digital radicalization, you alluded to the issue of Balochistan as well, and keeping in mind the instability in Balochistan and the number of facilities that account for, of course, 62% of the recent fatalities occurred in Balochistan. What specific policies, in your opinion, should be implemented when we talk about this dual threat of terrorism?
You know, in Balochistan, first of all, we should start from our, governance system in Balochistan. We have to bring back these category B areas into category A areas. We have employed levies. We have enrolled 83,000 levies in Balochistan. 60% out of them are ghosts. We are spending 92 billion rupees on these guys. They are supposed to be maintaining law and order. They are not even present on ground. What to take of action against these people? Other day, the place from where this bus was, those 7 individuals were brought down from the bus. That incident happened between 2 posts which were 500 meters apart, and the levies were there. They didn't come out. There's no policing. So there's no policing system. We have to sit back. We have to reset our priorities, and we have to improve our governance in Balochistan first. Secondly, the kinetics should be with precision kinetics and heavy kinetics, to be very honest. Bring every citizen of Balochistan under the lawfare. Those who are abiding by law-abiding citizens who are working under Constitution of Pakistan, protect them. But all those who are not accepting the Constitution of Pakistan, even through the social disruptive movements, bring them under the lawfare. Establish those courts, dispense the justice. And justice doesn't mean that you have to look after people. You have to give punishment to people to save the lives of other innocent people. So the law and order has to be improved. Government has to take action, and we have the assemblies. Even if some special laws are required for some period, you should go for that. And to be very honest, now it is high time. I am against the operations in the area, but systematically we have to clear the area. You might have to block certain area for certain time period, maybe a quick operation to eliminate, and then establish the rate, establish these policing systems, establish better governance system in those areas, and then move forward. Slowly and gradually we have to wipe out all these elements wherever they are present. Unfortunately, they are using the population. They go back and live within the population. They exactly know that they will not be targeted over here.
Right, and of course that needs both kinetic and non-kinetic measures. Unfortunately, we are pressed for time at the moment. Thank you very much, Major General Retired Zahid Mahmood, for joining us in today's program. Thank you very much, Mr. Zahir Shah Shirazi, for joining us in today's program. That's all from Game Changer tonight. Take care. Allah Hafiz.